Today is the day to share my winter sowing results. I have 23 jugs in total, although some were started in mid-March, and we'll get to those. We've had a very rainy last month, so it feels like it's about 2 weeks behind, but some of them I did open last week, and I start to let the air get at them and the real sun instead of through the jug so they don't get too overheated. So I can show you the ones that were the most successful, but again, some of them are still a little far behind, but it was time to open them up because of the heat. I usually have them all lined up by numbers, and this is my list. They were started January 18th, most of them. And then I did another sowing on 3/10, March 10th. And over here is the date I started some dahlia seedlings that I just posted about in a dahlia experiment little video. I usually plant them directly, but this year I tried the jugs just to heat them up a little faster, and that was pretty successful. All right, so let's see what's going on here. These are ice plant gelato, and it's a ground cover, and it's my first year sowing these. They did really well. I think they're kind of like a succulent. And this little one over here that just kind of started, that was Dusty Miller. So only one of those has popped up. But it was recently, so maybe there'll be time. The ones in this container, I split them down the middle. It's Rose Campion. And I tried some clematis seeds from a neighbor. I'm thinking that's the Rose Campion, although I'm really not sure, to tell you the truth, because I did not label them. I just assumed I would know looking at them, which is always a fun way to keep track of your plants. But I do believe that's probably the Rose Campion. These are really successful. These are Verbena, and that's a perennial. That's my first year growing that. These were actually the second batch, but they did really well. These were started in March 10th, and this is white yarrow, and it's a native yarrow, and I got that from the library this year. They were giving away seeds from the Rhode Island Extension program or the university. And over here, I have it listed. This is sugar spun Celosia. So I'm excited about that. See how that looks. Over here, these three sections are Gaillardia. There's a red Gaillardia that's supposed to bloom in May, an early one. And then there's a bicolor Gaillardia and then a peach. And those are also perennials. So some say that they will bloom the first year, but they're kind of small, so I'm assuming that maybe I'll put them in the ground and it'll take a little while. These are Nigella, or Love in the Mist, and I split them in half because some are seeds from mine last year, which are like a Persian violet. They were blue and purple. They were so pretty. And then from Crane at Cranery Gardens, he had a seed giveaway, and he sent me these. He says green pod Nigellas, so that'll be my first year with those two. The purple Nigellas actually have a pretty seed pod. It's like a purple stripe. I'm not sure what these will look like, but green pod makes me think maybe green. So the next thing is this one. We only had one, and this is Winged Everlasting. This was also from Crane at Cranery Gardens, his seed giveaway. The other side was Calendula from Crane, and I do not see any signs of that. These are Clary Sage Pink Sunday. Now this is an annual, but I had read that sometimes people have good luck with winter sowing. So this is really pretty. It's my first time growing it, so I'm excited to have that in the garden. This one is number 13 jug. It's Hollyhocks on the right side. Those are seeds I saved from my own Hollyhocks last year. And then on the left are Wisteria. I have a 70-year-old wisteria in my yard that smells so nice, and it's really pretty. And a friend or an old neighbor of mine actually that moved asked me to plant some seeds for her, and she's going to try to grow them in her yard. This next jug, 14 here, this is Echinops, which is globe thistle, and this is my first year. It's a perennial growing that. It's supposed to attract ladybugs. So I'm excited about that because with the butterfly garden, I have milkweed varieties, and they do attract aphids, and ladybugs love to eat aphids. So I'm trying to plant something that will bring more in. Next to that is sea holly. That's from my daughter's yard. I collected her seeds. There's another word for that too, and I'll put that on the screen. Now these didn't progress too much, the next couple of ones, even though they've been planted since January. This was Helenium, which is also sneezeweed, and it really has looked like this for probably the last month and a half. So I opened it up maybe thinking maybe the sunshine or the fresh air it needs, or it was getting too hot. And this one was one of my first exciting things that started to sprout, and this is Foxglove. And what I did about a month and a half ago is I took some of the bigger ones out of here and I transplanted them into little cups. And they're really kind of slow growing, so I'm just hoping they're going to make it. We'll see. They originally were going to be first year bloomers, but considering it's late April, I do not think so. But I'll keep trying. I think they're perennials as well. This variety is a perennial, so if I plant it, it still may come back next year. These were all started, let's see, 16, 17, 18, and 19. They were all started on March 10th, and it was just to give some heat to mostly annuals that need warm weather to get started anyway. So number 16 is Coleus, so it's chocolate cherry and rainbow. So they're doing really well, but they're very small, and they do like heat to get going, so I'm going to keep them closed up. Speaking of closed up, I used this year this white duct tape that I got on Amazon. I'll post a picture of it. And it's been so easy to remove. I don't have anything left over because I was really going to try to use these again next year because that's part of the work, making the holes, cutting it, and then taping them all up. So it really came off really nicely on all the jugs. So if you use in the past, the silver kind, it's very sticky. Maybe you have good luck with that, but this white really worked well for me. And originally I did start off with some blue painter's tape. Let's see. See, some of the blue painter's tape is still there too, but I knew that wouldn't handle the weather, so I did put the white over it after that. I am just going to cut back to a couple that are still in jugs because they are still slow going. These are Snapdragons. And really not that many germinated, and they're very, very tiny. So I figured maybe they could use the extra heat. I haven't opened them up yet. Number 9 over here, I know these are Rudbeckia. Black-eyed Susans, these are my own seeds that I saved. They did take a long time to pop up, but they're there. So I'm excited about that, but again, I'm leaving them with the heat. Okay, so back to 16, 17, 18, 19 jugs I started in March 10th, and they are mostly annuals, I believe, that I just wanted to give a little heat to, but not really because Yarrow and Ice Plant are perennials. This was exciting too. This is Gomphrena. 2 women in my garden club gave me some seeds, and this is Little Buddy Purple Gomphrena, and this one is Atomic Purple Gomphrena. They haven't progressed much since they all popped up a couple of weeks ago. So again, I opened them up today. Maybe some real sunshine and fresh air getting at them will help. These last few I brought over into the shade because I really couldn't see into the jugs. And I hope you can too. But these were planted on March 21st. And this was just to warm up the seeds and get them started. Number 21 here is Ageratum. Ageratum, it's like a purple annual. It's supposed to be great for butterflies. And on the other side is Feverfew, which is a perennial. Number 22 on the upper side there is Chimmery Rudbeckia. And I've tried to grow it before, direct sow, and it did not work in my garden. So I just see one little seedling there, but it does look similar to the other one. So I'm hoping it actually is the Rudbeckia. We'll see. I'll put a picture up. They're really cute. They're like very spiky and fun looking. And then on the bottom, it is called Pink Evening Primrose. I have Yellow Evening Primrose, which is a ground cover. It was given to me by a neighbor. And it's like a sea of yellow, and it's pretty, but I thought that I'd actually like the pink too, so I'm going to try the pink version as well. Let's see this last one here. This is, just in case you didn't see before, these are the dahlia seedlings, and I'm going to keep them all locked up so they stay nice and warm. and continue to grow. I did start one more container of dahlia seedlings. I had 4 seedlings left from Floret, and they have not started to sprout yet, but I put them in this container with loofah. And that on the left there is a loofah seedling about to pop up. But these were just started on 4-4, so I just started those 2 weeks ago. So I'm excited the loofah's coming up, though. I have a friend who grows them for years and has used them as sponges. But anyway, I like to experiment with new things. So those are the winter sowing results. I pulled them all away from the south wall because it's time for my actual other plants to start popping up through the ground. This grouping right here, I am most likely going to plant them in the next week into the garden because they are ready to go. I probably should mention that out of 23 jugs, I had 3 duds. And nothing is happening in these jugs. One was Fama Blue Scabiosa, which is a perennial scabiosa that I've actually tried last year's winter sowing. Did not work. So recently I bought another set of seeds from a different company, and I have them in the refrigerator for 2 weeks, and I'm going to try one more time. That's what they suggested, because the perennial scabiosa is supposed to need a cold period, and they've been in the ground, well, they've been in the jug since January, mid-January, and they did not produce anything. The other one that did not do anything for me is this number 4. That was a Stilby, and I had assorted a Stilby, I believe from Swallowtail Seeds, but nothing has happened in that jug at all. And the last one was kind of my own mishap. I had grown some straw flower, and it got flooded in one of the rains because I realized I did not poke holes in the bottom. So when I went to try to poke the holes in the bottom, all the seedlings kind of spilled out with the water, I think. So I'll have to start straw flowers from scratch. It's looking a little haphazard right now since I opened them all, but overall I'm really happy with the results. Did you try winter sowing? What do you have the best luck with? Let me know about your results in the comments. Thanks for watching.